Are you being drained by energy vampires and you don't even know it? You find yourself suddenly exhausted, just want to pass out around certain people or places, because energy vampires can also be places, not just people. Do you feel agitated suddenly when you're in certain company, or restless or irritable, even angry? Well, my name's Sonia Choquette. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about energy vampires, something that many people are becoming aware of suddenly, even though they may not have identified it as such. So we're going to talk about how to spot them, how to get free of them, and also, goes without saying, how to not be one of them. If you're new to my channel, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Every week we focus on how to raise our vibration, live in the fifth dimension, and just have an experience of life that feels good. Energy vampires are everywhere. And it's because we have a society that's basically been conditioned to believe that we need other people's approval, other people's power, other people's input in order to function in life. So many people don't even know they're energy vampires. I just got rid of an energy vampire myself in the past few weeks, who was actually a very good friend for many years, someone I enjoyed, someone who was uplifting. The energy exchange was give and take, but in the last 2 or 3 years, it got to be more and more. My friend was extremely negative, always bummed out, one drama after another, and I felt like I was a fireman living with an arsonist in this particular relationship. Every single encounter was her starting a drama or creating one unnecessarily, and me spending the entire conversation putting it out. I got tired of it. And it was hard for me because I really loved this friend of mine. I've known her forever, but I wasn't loving the experience. So I just stopped responding to her calls. I didn't ghost her. I didn't ice her. I just texted her and said, I'm hoping that you're having a wonderful day. I'm sending you prayers, sending you good vibes, and whatever's going on, it'll pass. And after about, I'd say 6 weeks of this interaction, she finally said, I just want to talk to you, just check in. And when I agreed, she was mindful about how much drama she brought to the table. She actually didn't bring much. And I think that a lot of energy vampires can be re-educated by how you respond. So check in your own life. Is there anyone, and there often are, by the way, in the inner circle of your life more than anything, who just leaves you feeling drained, agitated, irritable, reactive, triggered, all of those things? You can say, yeah, my entire family or my significant other, because that's what we do with one another. But an energy vampire is someone who really does tap into your energy, really does want to pull from you because they're not operating with their own resources, their own resilience, their own creativity. So in order to have an energy vampire be removed from your life, you have to quit giving your energy. Step 1, if someone drains you or triggers you, go neutral. Say, you know what? Excuse me, I'll be back. And use your left and right foot. I have said this forever. Your best protection from any kind of an energy zap is to leave. Now, you don't have to leave in drama or run away in horror. Just escape. Just say, oh my God, I forgot something. I'll be right back. If you're on the phone, hang up. If you're in the company of someone, say, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. Or I forgot it, I have to attend to something, I'll be back. And cut the energy cord. But when you're walking away, cut the cord. Intend, just see yourself just cutting. And you can actually, if you are free to do this, put your hands across your chest and just cut. Because your body will respond by pulling back. Another way an energy vampire gets your attention is first through flattery. They'll tell you you're so wonderful, you're so great. The worst case is love bombing, where they really indulge your ego and then they zap you with something. They want something. They have an agenda. They want to use you. They want to use your energy, your creativity, your resources. So again, Awareness is protection, and boundaries is your job, not theirs. So you have to be stealth. You have to be present and pause. Don't be rushed along. That is another big way in which you can be energy zapped, energy vampired. I have a client who talks so much, so fast, so intensely, doesn't come up for a breath, that I find myself just draining. So it took me about, 2 or 3 interactions with coaching this client when I would say, okay, now pause, breathe. Now, I'm in the position as a coach to do that, but if you're with somebody who just goes on and on, what disrupts that drain from you, which is partly your attention trying to follow their endless dialogue, or monologue rather, is to breathe. Just lean back, put a hand on your breath and go, let me breathe. I need to breathe. That's a lot. I need to breathe. Because the breathing cuts the cord and it liberates you from being drained. What drains you is primarily your attention, your willingness to give your energy and attention to someone who just takes it and takes it and takes it and takes it. So you have to be creative in how not to do that. Breathing is another good tool. So left and right foot, gotta go. Don't answer the phone. Walk away, take a breath. These are very practical tools, but all of them only work if you decide, I'm not available. I am not the energy bank for anyone who just wants to come and take out a withdrawal of my energy. That's the key transformation here, is to decide that my value is not intrinsically tied into being forever available to every single person who wants my time, energy, and attention, and my payoff is that I'm nice. I had an extreme case with a client a few months ago. This woman was an elderly woman. I think she was in her mid-80s, was in pretty good health until she got COVID, and that really zapped her physically. And she had a nephew, a single guy in his mid-40s, who would come and basically offer to help water the lawn, do this, do that. And she was grateful initially for the attention, but she thought it interesting that all these years before she got sick and before she was vulnerable, he didn't come around much. And then suddenly he started coming around, and every time he came around, he asked more questions. How are you? Who's taking care of your banking? Real personal questions. Who's taking care of your affairs? And she overshared. This is definitely what sets you up for an energy vampire to come and rob your bank, and sometimes literally. So she overshared. She let him know she had money. She let him know that she had saved away, squirreled her money away. And the next thing you know, her nephew is not just coming and going, but he said to her, I think I should move in. I think I should come in and take care of you, and I'll just live in the house. Again, initially and mentally, that felt like a good idea. She was alone, but she wasn't a frail or insecure woman. She just lived alone. That was by choice for many years. So she had to accommodate him. So in he moves, and she starts noticing pretty quickly that he's not quite right at night. And she started to suspect quite accurately that he had a drug problem. First, she thought it was just pot because she could smell it and rationalize that, I guess he's relaxing. Then she started noticing a lot of drinking going on, and then his behavior just got even more bizarre. So now the vampire moved in. During the day, he was nice. He was always polite. He never, ever, ever gave her any trouble, but he just kept consuming her space, her energy, her home. Started man-spreading out in his dysfunctional way, and then moved a girlfriend in. So after 8 months, she had 2 people living in her house that she didn't want living there and had lost complete control. That's where she basically called me, and I said, I can't help you until you decide they have to leave. I can give you every strategy in the book, but until you decide what your boundary is, what your true no is, then he's going to stay. Well, sadly, she's still struggling. She's still putting up with it. She doesn't know how to put her foot down, and he knows it. Energy vampires can tell. If there's no boundary, they'll keep coming. So you have to be the bad guy. At least in your own mind, you have to quit seeing it as the bad guy and start seeing it as the self-interested person. And you have to start seeing that your no is not a crime. A lot of people have been conditioned that you have to say yes perpetually and forever into anyone if you are going to be, if you're lovable, you're going to belong. You know, a lot of people were raised in very conditional homes where you just had to be compliant and you had to be boundaryless with insecure, immature parents. And so it's hard to reverse that. But have you noticed the world is shifting? The vibration of this planet is changing, and it is inviting us intensely to recognize these long buried self-defeating patterns that keep us in chained and prison in other people's energy suck. So you have to summon that part of you, that warrior part of you, that divine no, that Mars energy. And says, I'm out. Get out. Go away. I would rather be alone than have you around. I would rather be a bad guy than have you drain me dry. I would rather face the discomfort of conflict. And that is a big one. Even I have that problem. There are people I still want to get out of my life. And instead, I know when I'm avoiding them. And I know those days are numbered. So we are all being asked to start living more authentically and more self-lovingly. That's part of our fifth dimension ascension. And we can't bypass this. So if you are aggravated by someone's behavior, if they are draining you, agitating you, irritating you, bullying you, inflating their importance in your life, telling you you need them, telling you you're wrong, gaslighting you, pushing back, don't care. Now that's a big, big leap from probably where you were, or even where you are today, but you have to. Don't carry. Take that sentence a little further. Don't carry. Don't carry someone. You wouldn't, unfortunately my client did this, but don't give them you wouldn't give someone your wallet, the keys to your car, the front door, say, mi casa, su casa, help yourself. There's nothing in it for you. Relationships need to be authentic and balanced. And an energy vampire doesn't feel that at all. They will take and take and take and take until there's no more to take. And then rather than appreciating you, they'll leave. This is the plight of so many divorces where I was married forever to someone who I helped and helped and helped and helped and helped and helped. And then when I got sick of helping, they divorced me and just went on to the next person. Now, we've read about this, we hear about this, we call it narcissism, we call it codependency, but I just want to call it vampirism, because that's actually what's happening. They are sucking off your life force and have no problem doing it and have no problem draining you to the point of collapse. So time to slow down and get to what makes me vulnerable to vampirism and really identify that more than any other thing. And it boils down to my worth is not tied into someone else's approval. My worth is not tied in to giving myself away. My intrinsic value is because I am a divine being. That's why in the ascension process, we have to come to this. We have to recognize this and to be fearless. Part of our ascension right now is to stop living in fear. And do you know that most interactions are based in fear? Most interactions are, if you don't do what I want, I will punish you, withhold from you, go away, cut you off, bully you, attack you. But very few relationships are based in mutual love and respect. But as we ascend from third dimension, power and control, to fifth dimension, where we feel our spirit, we're guided and we're abundant and we flow, we don't need to glom on to others or cater to others in a way that is fundamentally fear-based. So To not be in Vampireville, you have to make some hardcore basic soul decisions. I matter. I can be okay without having to cater to all of this. I even had a client yesterday whom I read for who was really drained, bone marrow drained by working for a pharmaceutical company that was pretty soulless, that had no appreciation for what she accomplished, no appreciation for the clients. It was just bottom line, bottom line. And she was so agitated and so worked up. And yet, and here's the funny thing, she had decided to get a new job and did get a new job, but she was just paranoid about quitting. Paranoid. What are they going to do? What are they going to say? What about my clients? What about them? What about their reputation? Not one bit of herself was centered in her. It was centered in this soulless corporation with bosses that really weren't even around. It was all pretty virtual. So I said, look, your noble self wants to stay and do the right thing to the end, but there is no payoff for you to keep serving a source that's soulless, careless, and doesn't see you or dignify you as a person with your own boundaries. That was her work. I said, you have to just quit and care about yourself and carry your energy instead of thinking the payoff is I'm so good, I'm so wonderful energetically, you're going to give me a double bonus reward. So when we're living in a higher consciousness, we start to get out of the mind and out of the emotion of things, and we get very clear about the energy of things. What is my actual experience? Am I drained or uplifted? If I'm uplifted, I'm not being drained. I am not with an energy vampire. If I am inspired, if I laugh, if I feel good, if I feel witnessed, even if I'm physically tired, my spirit is nourished. Now, the final thing I want to say is you too can be an energy vampire and not know it by feeling as though you can't stand in your own power, you can't stand on your own 2 feet, you can't meet your own basic needs, or you're unwilling to. Those are harsh words perhaps for some, but that if you glom onto others, they will eventually push back because it's survival. And right now the planet, our ascension, our higher selves, our spirits are saying, I'm not doing that anymore, even if the ego patterns of you want to continue. So this is quite a disruptive period. But those energy vampires, they're going to be exposed. And then you get a choice. If you choose to stay in energy vampire relationships, like my poor client who's just worn down by her drug addict nephew and his girlfriend, okay. But if you choose to say no and go through the discomfort of changing your frequency and changing your cooperation, your life is going to get really much better very fast. You know, my teacher said, whatever you avoid, do first. So if you're avoiding being the bad guy, be the bad guy. If you're avoiding confronting someone saying, I'm over it, do it today. If you are avoiding coming across as not nice, be not nice today. You know, we are in an ascension pattern in this planet where everybody is being encouraged to not interact on a low-level ego, power and control, power struggle, where there's a winner, a loser, and it goes back and forth, and nobody's tuning into their spirit, nobody's receiving guidance, nobody's creatively inspired. It is just a mosh pit of noise and drama. You have to exit. So if this speaks to you, give me a thumbs up. Better yet, subscribe. And even better yet, send it to people, if you want to do something fun, who are energy vampires, and say, this was very interesting, thought I'd share it with you. Most people do not see themselves as energy vampires. And they would say, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of those in my life, but something will stick. Now, one of the other ways for you to get out of energy vampire is that I was guided by my divine support system to create a way for people to reconnect to their higher self and their source and start being nourished from within so that they don't let themselves be vulnerable to this exposure. So if you feel like you would like to get your guidance back to connect to you and disconnect from all this drama and drain, then check out my link below. I have something I've created that is based on my Trust Your Vibes Oracle deck. It's called In the Moment Guidance, where you can come back to self. You can get reconnected to your spirit. You can get, you'll get a beautiful meditation to clear all that noise that is just leaving you completely flatlined, and you'll clear the blocks. So that's his tool of support. You can find it by clicking the link below. In the notes, you'll find the notes below. Will take you to In the Moment Guidance. The important thing is the relationships that we are having, these third dimension relationships, power and control, ambush and ego, and vampirism that's leaving you so exhausted and feeling ripped off, they have to end. And they're going to become so uncomfortable that the ending will be more appealing than the fear of ending. So if that's what you're experiencing, just know that the universe is here. Your higher self is on the job. It's time for you to ascend. There's support if you need it. You don't have to be anybody's source of life and energy at all. Now, I just want to say this really quickly. If you're a new mom or you have infants, that is an energy that you give out, but you get it back from the baby, from the unconditional love of your children, from the devotion, the fun, the play. So don't confuse this, and don't let your ego confuse this and say, yeah, right, you're not supposed to give energy, you're a bad person. Just wanted to put that in there. Please subscribe. Please give me a like. That keeps the channel going. Please give yourself the support if you need of in the moment guidance so you don't feel alone and disconnected from your source. And please share this with people who, especially the ones who are guilty, because they may not even know it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. All my love.